part two of almost being murdered. So after he chased us down and threatened to kill us and shot me in the back of the leg with a BB gun when I was 4, um, he was severely mentally and physically abusing our mother. She would have to barricade herself in our room during the day and sleep on the floor because he made her stay up all night watching corn and doing very bad things. And so we grew up around a lot of fighting, drugs, alcohol, and partying, if you will. Not from my mom. I mean, she would just sit there and just completely in shock and like just completely mentally like removed herself. It was horrible. But whenever they would fight, um, the evil man, that's what I'm just going to call him. I don't know if I should say his name or not. He had a brother who lived on property in this tiny little trailer, like a travel trailer. So whenever they would fight, we would go to Uncle Chuck's house and we'd watch dinosaurs and eat Popeyes. And whenever like things, I guess, would semi settle down, we would be able to go back over there. And I guess I'll just say his name. His name's Eric. So Eric and Chuck were brothers. Anyways, so after living with Eric and all the chaos that came with that, my mom ended up having 2 children with him. They at the point they were like 1 and 2 years old. An opportunity presented itself for us to get away. And he had always told my mom, if she ever tried to leave, he would hunt us, me, Sabrina, and my mom down and kill us. And so she was always scared. He instilled a lot of fear into her and us. Anyways, so my mom and Uncle Chuck, I guess, came up with a plan. And one morning, my mom was taking us to school, and she asked my sister and I if we wanted to go to school that day. And thankfully, we said no. And we drove down, and we were at a gas station. And I remember her telling us to duck down because, like, the grandparents were driving by. And we left, and we ran away to Texas. And my mom left our 2 siblings in Oklahoma because he told her that he wouldn't harm them because they were his own children. And she didn't want to do it. She wanted to save everybody, but he had proven that he was out to get us and he wanted to hurt us. So she really didn't have an option, she felt, later in life, for sure. Well, there was regret right away, but about like the whole entire situation. But so we ran away. We came to Texas where Uncle Chuck moved his little trailer down here, and we all 4 stayed in this little trailer and had to be in hiding from his whole family. We couldn't talk to our siblings anymore. We obviously had no interactions with his family. They never put 2 and 2 together. We just up and started a whole new life. And I'll never forget, I was standing and my mom made me a can of SpaghettiOs, and she asked me she goes, you can call him whatever you want. You can call him Uncle Chuck, you can call him Chuck, or you can call him Dad. And I decided in that moment, as like a little kid, I think I was like 6 or 7, to call him Dad. So I called him Dad. And after growing up, in the household when I was younger, the super toxic, we ran away with the brother. The brother is now my dad, or was my dad. And then, moving to Texas, we lived in Grand Prairie and Irving and all of that, in the super cramped, tiny little trailer. Also, of course, at first it wasn't bad, until alcohol and drugs and all of that stuff started to pour back into our lives. And, we had glimpses of a normal childhood, but just surrounded by complete chaos. We finally upgraded to a normal size single wide trailer, and we moved to Grapevine. And that was when I was 8, and I lived in that trailer from the age of 8 to 15. And like, just imagine I'm going to call him Chuck because he's not my dad. But Chuck was obsessed with like heavy metal, rock and roll. And don't get me wrong, I love that type of music. And I love every type of music. If it has a good beat, I enjoy it. But, it was alcohol all day, every day. It was drugs, and like, no, there was zero peace in that house. I got along with him really well forever. I got along with him well. I was always the kid who like listened and didn't want to get in trouble. And even though I got in trouble, he and my sister did not get along. And then my mom, she was caught in the crossfire of everything, trying to keep peace in the house. But he was, if we got in trouble, like we didn't get a regular patting on the butt. He would pull his belt off, and it was a leather belt with metal holes, and you could run and squirm, and he's swinging. So you'd get it in your back and your legs. I remember I would just sit down and pee. I would just be in so much pain, and we would have welts all over us. And, at one point I remember him choking my sister for, just being not listening or whatever. I remember him pulling her hair. CPS got involved. Lots of drama, like trying to go to sleep at night. Like, he had his recliner centered in the middle of the living room, and all of our bedrooms were behind him. And he had his speakers like aimed perfectly at the recliner, and he would have it cranked up so loud the trailer was literally rattling, trying to go to sleep, like rock and roll. And he would like be wasted, and it was not an ideal situation for a kid. I struggled in school so bad I could not stay focused. And then, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to go for today. It's about to like pick up intensity, but I don't know of like good stopping points. So that's kind of like up to where we are, like, living in Grapevine and growing up there. I'm going to leave that for right now.